Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Think of all that time. Every wait in the winter. All those hours no one else saw. Every sprint in the summer. Think of every sacrifice. Early mornings on the levee. Late nights in the film room. Bus rides to playoff games. Every bump in the road. Every moment of ecstasy. Every moment of doubt. Years wondering, is it all worth it? It's all led to this. Man, I got this. It's a 60-minute drive for a 60-minute game. After all the miles we've traveled, we're almost there. After all the hours we've worked, one more can make us legends. After all that time, this is our time.
Seems like no nonsense guy. Like
re-emphasize that for the Saints fans out there on TikTok. Caveman, what did you just say?
The rebuild starts right now. Marshawn Lattimore's gone, so the defense, like we're not getting any better.
Looking to get into Smith. What a pass! That's it! Cordell Smith with the game winner! Oh my goodness!
And that is why you have Aaron Fry pass the ball in. A career year. And like you have you have the best quarterback in the league, arguably, the best wide receiver in the league, and you've got the best edge rusher in terms of total sacks this season. And you're 4-7, and your playoff chances are hanging on by it. Let's make it interesting.
We're making it interesting. Come on. Give us the freaking moment. We'll take it.
Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Put him in there.
Biz back the elbow.
Who the heck is that guy?
Deflected good, help defense from the Warriors. Oh, what a pass! And Kuminga throws it down! This could be the pass of the year so far. You might watch every game the rest of the season in the NBA.
Mr. Announcer guy. So don't you go saying that you're never going to see that.
You're such a hater.
You are looking live at Till the Final Whistle on Military Broadcast Radio. HG and Caveman in the house. H-Train on the sound. Before we get into today's show, there was some kind of breaking news that happened recently. There's a huge injury in the March Madness tournament before we got into the women's Sweet 16 this weekend. JuJu Watkins tore her ACL in the first quarter against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
First quarter, man.
Brutal injury. I was one of the, that arena went dead silent after it happened, too. Everyone just lost it. lost their voice. It was, she was on the fast break looking to make something happen. Then next thing you know, her legs buckling under her. She's on the floor, rolling around in pain, and all 7,800 people in attendance just went silent.
That was unfortunate. That was so early in the game too. Like, there's only 13 points scored.
Yep.
By their team. There's 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
So the projected player of the year in women's basketball now done for the season.
And I think easily she was the best player this year.
Oh, yeah.
Offensively and defensively, too. Really underrated on defense.
I mean, sometimes she was just her team's whole offense. Like it ran through JuJu, and she made everything happen for the Trojans. And yeah, done for the season. Likely gonna miss the start of the next season with this injury. Now it's your USC who's gonna step up and carry the burden, carry the load there. Yeah. I will say they did close that game out very strong with a 96-59 win.
Yeah, they played pretty well still. They still got it done for their teammate.
So, I mean, if you're looking for somebody to step up and shoulder the load, I'm looking at Kiki Arafin right now. I thought, she's their second best player behind JuJu. Now she's going to have to kind of step up and I think fill that role that JuJu did. She did it really well in this game, scoring 36 points, with 9 rebounds as well, a couple of blocks over there. Kennedy Smith, Talia Von Oliphant. We're going to need to see their offense elevate too, I think, for them to really be successful. Raya Marshall, they're one of their bigs. She had 9 rebounds in this game, 12 points, 4 blocks, as well as 2 steals. Her defense can she make more impactful defense or even more impactful defense to help flip these games? We'll see, but I do feel for USC that unfortunately this might be where the run comes to an end. Coming into the tournament as a 1 seed, your final home game of the season, this happens, and you got a very good Kansas State team next round. They got a very good Kansas State team next round. I feel like this could be.
They're still favored. I feel like they could win it. They could win it, but it's still a tough game.
Yeah, but then we'll look at looking at it more too. You get past Kansas State,
then it's
probably playing UConn, and I mean that's where we felt like the season might come to an end as well. So I mean, all things considered, if you can beat Kansas State, this would still be a pretty successful tournament run for them, I would feel, with everything that went wrong. You get that, you still manage to get to the Elite Eight. You can walk away feeling pretty good about this. But like I said, I already thought that this Kansas team might be a sneaky upset for the Trojans, and now you're missing your best player. I don't know. We'll see how they do. But we also had a couple other games going on yesterday. Florida State, their season's done thanks to LSU, a dominant win, 30-point win by the Tigers. Take a look at what happened in this one, Caveman.
If I can get anything to load, I got you. But yeah, we've got a lot of tabs open.
Caveman is he's getting the EMPs right now. All right. Well, 3 starters on the Tigers scoring 20 or more points right there.
Let's see.
It wasn't even one of their, Fluja. I always mess her name up.
Flage.
Johnson wasn't even one of them, and that's she's their best player. But Nisa Morrow, Michaela Williams, Samaya Smith, all with 20 or more points. Samaya Smith with a double-double at 20 points, 12 rebounds.
I just can't load anything on the Wi-Fi.
No. I was asking if we was on March Madness because I'm.
Oh yeah,
USC is playing in March Madness, so it's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
Good defensive effort here out of the Tigers. They really just buttoned down in the second half here too. It was real back and forth. Florida State actually, had this game. I don't remember if it was tied or they were like only down by 2 or something coming into the halftime. And then that LSU defense, they just flipped a switch, only giving them 22 points in the whole second half and really pulling away from them there. They will be moving on to face NC State next. I'm not sure which is the better Sweet 16 matchup, NC State, LSU, or Duke and North Carolina. I mean, we're getting obviously there's that rivalry there between Duke and North Carolina, but two of the best players in all of women's college hoops are playing in that LSU and NC State game. So those are the two I got circled going into the Sweet 16 weekend. I do think UCLA probably going to handle Ole Miss. I'm leaning towards South Carolina taking down Maryland. But both of those games, I got them going either way. It's real 50-50 there. Kansas State and USC, that's going to be a real intriguing one to see. Even though Oklahoma is a 3 seed, I think UConn's going to probably handle them.
UConn's probably just the best team on this women's bracket right now.
Yeah, of all the teams remaining, UConn's definitely the best there. This Notre Dame TCU game, that'll be a pretty intriguing one too, though. We'll see. Like we were talking about it on Monday, the size of the Horned Frogs, especially with Sedona Prince, even though her teammates hate her, she's still a pretty good center.
Yeah, it's honestly, she really just is really in love with herself. I see. If you search her name up online, it's mainly just her TikTok page with edits of herself, edits of her own highlights in game, and I don't know. I really like Haley Van Lith, and I feel like a lot of people just don't really like Sedona Prince. They're kind of rooting against TCU because of that.
Right. Well, I mean, she's already a very self-absorbed person, and then there is apparently what she did to one of her girlfriends.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother freaking thing, dude. I don't know. I see it. I don't know. I saw a video this morning before you got here. It was I really, really love Haley Van Lith, but I hate that monster that plays on her team with her.
Right.
It's
Haley Van Lith is easy to root for. I mean, she's a great hooper, good person. Teammates, everywhere she goes, her teammates really love her. But yeah, so why'd you go? You had to go to TCU, man. Well, you got to go pair up with Sedona, which is just probably the most hated player in women's hoops.
She's also been playing college basketball since 2021. She was on the same Oregon team that went to a Sweet 16 run with Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah.
She's been playing college basketball for so long at this point, too. It's no wonder she's pretty dominant at her position at this point. You know what I mean?
You better be, right?
Yeah.
So I guess good on her for that, but she's a pretty annoying person. Well, those little preview of the women's Sweet 16. Why don't we hop over here to the men's bracket? What matchups do you got your eyes on here for the Sweet 16, Caveman? What do you look?
Arizona Duke rematch. That's what I want to see. First, what's that? Is that the latest matchup on Thursday or one of them?
Which one?
Arizona Duke.
That's the 29th, so that's Friday. I think it's Friday, Saturday, or no. It is Thursday, Friday for the Sweet 16. So Duke, Arizona, that's going to be this Thursday. Looks like 7:39 p.m. So I guess it's probably one of the second games on.
That's probably the second one then. The second one, BYU Alabama will be good too. So I was excited to see Ole Miss, Michigan State. Because Ole Miss has been playing had pretty good first two games in this tournament. Kind of flew under the radar in our eyes. Everyone thought North Carolina was just going to beat them after how they played in their first four, but
that's why I thought North Carolina got like a super easy path to the Sweet 16. I was like, Iowa State, they're frauds. Ole Miss, they're frauds. I was right about one of those teams. Ole Miss was just not the frauds. They're the real deal. They're legit, and I'm really nervous. Like I got Michigan State on my one remaining bracket that's still good. That hasn't imploded, and that's the one I got money on. Michigan State's my pick to win it all. I'll be the first to admit I'm feeling pretty nervous about them and Ole Miss. So that I got that game circled. Bama BYU is going to be great. I'm really intrigued in this Auburn Michigan game. How is Auburn going to defend these 7-footers? How is Michigan going to use them? I kind of want to see that chess match there. How are they going to take advantage? These two teams are kind of, very distinctly different styles of play. Like Auburn can really stretch the floor on you. Like Michigan, they want to rely on their size and get downhill at you. That's going to be an intriguing kind of matchup to watch. I could see that one, though, if Auburn kind of figures out a way to get those big guys in mismatches and get them moving and screening action and pick and rolls. I could see Auburn getting, running away with that one too. So that'll be a really intriguing matchup. For the Maryland, upset alert for the Gators. What are we thinking here with Maryland? That's a pretty good team.
I think the games that both of them played, probably Florida. Well, I think Maryland probably definitely feels better coming into this game after both kind of scary finish.
For sure. Yeah.
But in that moment, I feel like Florida kind of pulled a little bit of the comeback. They could be kind of feeling hot after that win. So we'll really see. But I feel like definitely an upset. That Maryland is a pretty deep team. They just have a lot of guys people that played with Cooper Flag in high school that were kind of just overshadowed by the hype of Cooper Flag.
Right.
And Duke.
I like that freshman they got, Derek Queen, man. He's good. Jacoby Gillespie, he can get real lethal from beyond the arc too if you let him get hot. That's gonna be another really good one there. Well, let us know what matchups you're looking forward to the most here. This upcoming Sweet 16 round. We're gonna go ahead and probably head to our first break of the show today. You got anything else to add on college hoops before we go, Caveman?
I would, but I can't get anything to load.
Caveman's got to reset the laptop. Well, when we come back, we're going to have a very special look ahead to the UFL season coming up here soon. And we got some more NFL offseason news for you. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back here on Military Broadcast Radio until the final whistle.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
You are looking live at Till the Final Whistle. We got the first UFL game on Friday night, and let me see if I'll be able to tell you who's on the Michigan Panthers this season.
All right. Yep. So this Friday, March 28th, the second inaugural season of the United Football League begins. We've got the St. Louis Battlehawks and the Houston Roughnecks going head-to-head at the University of Houston's TDECU Stadium. So the Roughnecks will be hosting the season opener against my Battlehawks. I can't wait to see that. Sad thing about the Battlehawks, AJ McCarron doesn't look like he's actually coming back. I think he might be just done with football in general. So we'll see who the quarterback is for the Battlehawks. Looking like it's going to probably be Manny Wilkins. Might be. We'll see, what the quarterback situation is. We've got, former TCU quarterback Max Duggan. Was a backup on the Chargers for a bit, is on the roster as well. Kid out of Boise State, Siobhan Corderio, went undrafted after he finished up school there in 2023 and was drafted by the Battlehawks in their second draft. So a little quarterback mystery. Hopefully they get it figured out there. They did load up on some receiver talent though. So whoever the quarterback is, you'll still have Akeem Butler and plenty of good receivers to throw to. But we got a little preseason power rankings just for anybody who might have forgot what the teams are and who's good, who's not. It's preseason power rankings to help you sort out, who to watch and who to root for here out of all 8 UFL teams. So we'll start at the bottom with the Houston Roughnecks. They went 1-9 last year, obviously missed the postseason. Their odds to win the title are at plus 1,800. They did make some additions, bringing in Anthony Brown, former Oregon and Boston College quarterback. Excuse me. They did bring back their best offensive weapon, Justin Hall. But still, not a ton of moves that make you feel confident that they'll make that next jump. Will they lose 9 games again? I don't think so, but I don't see their ceiling being very high. Coming down to the number 7 ranked team here in these power rankings. This one I do disagree a little bit, but we're going off of RJ Lewis and the Fox Sports team's power rankings here. The DC Defenders. I feel like I would put them up a little higher. You still have Jordan Tiamu there at quarterback. Their title odds plus 600. They did go 4-6 last season there, but Tiamu proven to be a pretty good quarterback in these spring leagues. And Chris Rowland, the dynamic returner and receiver for them, he'll be back. Well, kind of wild card player there with them. I don't know, Cameron. Do you think they're too low here?
I mean, for a while there was just kind of just a race for who was really the worst between these two teams all year. But I feel like they are just slightly better.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, coming in at number 6, another team that was pretty bad last year. They went 2-8, missed postseasons. The Memphis Showboats. They, however, have made some pretty big improvements. That's probably why they're above DC. But their title odds are lower than theirs at plus 1,400. But the Showboats, they got EJ Perry, poached him from the Michigan Panthers. Dynamic dual
Have
threat
fun.
quarterback. Yep.
I'm glad they made the choice on going with Danny Etling. But this Rocky Lombardi guy could be interesting. Cool name guy. Why not throw him in there? Why not?
David Davis for the Showboats really was showing some impressive things late in the season. He's a player that's poised for maybe a breakout year here in the UFL. 41 catches, 446 yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns last year for him. I'll look for those numbers to go up. The number 5th ranked team here, we've got the Arlington Renegades. They went 3-7 last year. Their odds to win the title are at plus 1,100. Luis Perez is back. Tight end Sal Canella. Wired out Tyler Vaughn. So they had a pretty dynamic passing offense. Their problem was that they just couldn't run the ball at all, and their defense was practically non-existent. We'll see what strides they take there, and we'll get into the rosters deeper here in just a second once we get off these power rankings. Number 4, the San Antonio Brahmas. They were the runners-up last season. They are 7-3. They went 7-3 last year. They're bringing in Texas A&M quarterback to be their new starter, Kellen Mond. So, guy who used to playing against SEC competition, now getting a shot here in the UFL. And they had one of the best defenses in the league last season, under head coach Wade Phillips. Be looking to recreate some of that success. That was really what they rode to a championship before ultimately getting shut out by Birmingham. But came in at number 3, got your Michigan Panthers, plus 650 odds to win the title here. You were saying you're glad Danny Etling's going to be the starting quarterback for him again this season.
Yeah, both of them. It was again like just a competition on who was really wanting to just lose the starting job. Like their real offense was in the running game. I forget that guy's name. It's like Calborn or something. He was our star all season.
Right.
Let me go find him.
Well, on the defensive end,
Colburn.
They do have returning all UFL safety Kai Nakua. Defensive Player of the Year Breland Speaks is back. The USFL Defensive Player of the Year Frank Genda is returning. They had a very stingy defense last year. Will be interesting in the special teams game. Jake Bates not going to be there.
We don't
Who's
have
going to
him
be
anymore?
Yeah, the Detroit Lions went and picked him up. So be interesting to see. That was something that gave Michigan such an advantage, was just the range they had in the kicking game. I mean, Jake Bates made a name for himself just drilling a 64-yard field goal to win it week 1 over my Battlehawks to open the season last year for the UFL. So they don't have that dynamic weapon in the special teams game, but I think very good offensively and defense. They're pretty solid there. Number 2, though, we got the Battlehawks. So, despite losing AJ McCarron, as I mentioned, Manny Wilkins coming back, Siobhan Cordero, Max Duggan, all there in that quarterback room. Plenty of talent. All those guys were very productive quarterbacks. Wilkins filled in a few games for McCarron. I think he might be getting the starting nod just because he was on the team last year. I don't really see him staying the starter, if I'm being honest. I just don't think he's the best quarterback there. I'm leaning more towards Max Duggan, but if I were the head coach, that would probably be my pick for our quarterback. Jacob Sailors is coming back. He was electric for them in the run game. Undersized back that just runs with a chip on his shoulder. the Cam Scatterboo before there was, Cam Scatterboo right there. And obviously Hakeem Butler was the best receiver in the league last year, UFL Offensive Player of the Year. Just a monster at 6'6", had 652 receiving yards last year. But here at number 1 is Goliath with the Birmingham Stallions. Okay, man. I mean, who do you think's got the best shot to take this team down? They're bringing back a ton of talent.
I feel like we got more pieces. We had already pretty decent defense. We got to work on having a passing game. We figure out our QB room. Maybe give one of the other guys a shot. Honestly, Bryce Perkins, never heard of him, but why not?
Right.
Rocky Lombardi, why not? And Danny Etling kind of showed he had some dual threat ability, but the offense slows down. I mean, can't fall on the run game for the whole entire game.
They do have Matthew Colburn returning. That was, I think, you were talking about. Marcus Sims, man, that guy showed a lot of flashes. Had a pretty productive season in the 10-game season. 23 receptions for 426 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think he's another guy that could really have a bigger year too for Michigan and kind of break out there. But I do like the Panthers. I think they'll be very competitive, and they'll be a tough team. It's unfortunate that the Battlehawks they're in the UFL division, and it's that is just the really big good one that's got the Stallions, the Brahmas, the Panthers, Battlehawks in it. So that's that's going to be a real tough division to win.
Definitely.
And make it to the postseason. Some other notable guys that are coming back for the Stallions. So Adrian Martinez not returning, but they do still have Matt Corral. Now Alex McGow and Jamar Smith will be joining the quarterback room. Didn't really matter for the Stallions who was the quarterback. I mean, they just cycled through guys all season. Sometimes Corral played, sometimes it was Adrian Martinez. Martinez now with a cushy backup job in the NFL. One of the best jobs to have. You just, get to hang out on the sidelines and watch a football game every Sunday and get paid, couple million every month to do it, basically. But Corral, he had 3 starts but appeared in 4 games for the Stallions last season, 490 yards and 2 touchdowns. They'll miss the dual threat ability of Adrian Martinez, so might see a shift in how the Stallions run their offense. But CJ Marbler is coming back for them, and then their star linebacker, Darmekus Gates, player to watch on that defense. That was super good last season, but I know a lot of guys ended up leaving and getting some spots on the NFL roster. So a lot of holes there, but Gates is back. We'll see how that elite Stallions defense looks. They did get kind of stripped after the season they had. Who are some players to watch on the Showboats? Well, they had the second worst record in the league last year. Quentin Dormady is back, though, for them. Will he be the starter? They do hold the rights to former Kansas quarterback Jason Bean. That was the number 1 pick in last year's draft. So depending on what Bean decides to do, will he be a showboat and play for them? Blake Watson, a running back that they drafted in the second round of the UFL draft, they hold the rights to as well. Watson actually played a little bit for my Broncos in the 2024 NFL season.
A little bit.
Nothing major, but he is there. Has some NFL experience, could be invaluable. Darius Victor, their leading rusher from last season, is gone. But they are getting, as I mentioned, David Davis back and their other leading receiver, Jonathan Adams. So Showboats came in. What do you think they got a chance to turn it around here?
Yeah, they kind of have a few options they could work with at quarterback.
Certainly
It's
do.
a kind of a short season though to figure it out that quick though.
Yeah. I mean, the teams that were able to find success, were able to just run the ball really well with no matter who was in there, because it was real inconsistent quarterback play from the whole league last year. So being able to run the football is going to be very important. They also bringing in Denedric Prince and Eric Gardero, guys who saw some defensive snaps on the Kansas City Chiefs and Tennessee Titans rosters, respectively. So, got some guys with some league experience here.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
The Houston Roughnecks, who are some guys to watch here. Former Ravens quarterback Anthony Brown.
That might be fun.
Yeah, keep an eye on him. They've got a former Charlotte and Michigan defensive end, Abaya Okionama. They had drafted him with the 2nd overall pick. So, the University of Michigan, that was a solid defense right there.
Nice.
That's no team to scoff at right there. So he's got some experience on a pretty elite defensive Big Ten defense there. They're hoping to add some pop to their backfield. They went and picked up former Brahmas running back Morgan Ellison. So one of the worst rushing teams in the league last year. That really hurt them. That's why they had a 1-9 record. Wide receiver Justin Hall's coming back. He was tied for first with receptions last season. He had 56 and was third in receiving yards with 603. Just 3 touchdowns though for him, but good to bring a guy back like that. Was kind of a lone bright spot on that team. Their quarterback situation, not exactly sure what they're doing there. Looking at it, I mean, right now they got Nolan Henderson at number 1 on the depth chart. But I don't know. I'm kind of with you where I'm like, I like just giving Anthony Brown maybe a chance there instead.
With the NFL backup experience, I feel like that puts you're kind of there to be a UFL starter, in my opinion. I feel like he kind of won the position battle just with that. We'll see what happens though. They might go first few games and just see what happens. It was so inconsistent last year. You could have the same thing.
Yeah. They don't really exactly have a preseason, so sometimes these first 2 to 3 weeks of the season are your preseason. You got to figure out what works and get experimental with it. For the Roughnecks, they are bringing back safety Markel Roby, who was their top defensive back last season. He recorded 3 interceptions. We'll get to my Battlehawks here now. They're bringing back safety Luke Dennis. He had a short stint with the Falcons last season, so we got some league experience there. So a little,
He looks like he was pretty good for him. We got 2 picks, 37 tackles. That was last year for the
Battlehawks. Yeah. So now he's got a little league experience, and he's coming back to reclaim his starting role. Anthony Beck stayed on as the head coach, and then I mentioned that wide receiving room got a little better behind Hakeem Butler. They brought in 2 former NFL free agent signings that they're super stoked about. Andy Isabella and Denzel Mims coming in. A couple of guys that Mims, he's still pretty young. He never really just found a role on the Jets or anywhere on the NFL. But he's got elite speed, kind of that take the top off of a defense type of player there. And then Andy Isabella, I think, he was a solid slot receiver.
He's not bad.
In the NFL, I think he could be real elite at the slot for the Battlehawks. So that's what they got going there. It's going to, they were one of the best. They were the best offense in the league last season, and they just absolutely lit it up. I mean, very dependent on quarterback play. They had a really great quarterback last season in AJ McCarron. We'll see how these guys play, but they've got the tools and the weapons there for the offense to be super successful. The Brahmas destroying famous football YouTuber turned UFL kicker.
Broke his neck, right?
Did break his neck, but he's back. He'll be their kicker. So that's the headline there. I'm sure a lot of you know destroying.
Not his name. I didn't know his name was Donald, but
yeah,
yes, so he's not a bad kicker. He was pretty solid for him.
And Jared
hard.
Guerratano is going to be joining the Brahmas at quarterback. He played a little bit for the Roughnecks last season, joined them in free agent. So if we go and look at San Antonio's depth chart, he is going to be backing up Kellen Mond, John Lovett, Anthony McFarland. That was a very dynamic running back room last season. They're real great dual threats together there. Jonte Kirkland, man, he was a pretty elite ball catcher for them last year. He'll be returning behind the Marquez Stevenson. Promise the offense is looking pretty poised to be pretty good, and they retained a lot of that defense that made them pretty good as well. So they'll be a force for sure. All right, we got the defenders. I highlighted Jordan Teamu, who's been with the team for a while. We also talked about Chris Walland, who was elite elite receiver and special teamer for them. Malik Fisher, who led the team in sacks, he'll be returning as well. And behind Teamu, Spencer Saunders will be backing them up on the depth chart. So their team's looking all right, but we'll see. I think you did kind of convince me that maybe the 7th spot was for them there. Nothing really splashy that's going to help them get over the hump. I don't think.
I feel like they could have brought in a lot more. They have a lot more options. I feel like the UFL, as far as signings, you can kind of go and get people from anywhere.
Like Teamu is very talented. Don't get me wrong, but he can't do it alone. That defense is the suspect. All right, then finally we got the Renegades. I mentioned Luis Perez, and a couple of the receivers and tight end options that they got there already. So we'll see how they do. They were fine passing the football. That was really no problem
good there
for them. Well, I'm looking at can guys like Devon Smith, maybe Kalen Balaj, step up in that running game. Sal Canella was fantastic. Probably the best tight end in the league, if I had to say, last season. But they didn't win a ton of games because they just couldn't stop anybody, and they could not run the football. So the passing game's still just as good. The defense, the running game, special teams unit, all still kind of big question marks to me. We'll see we'll see how they do. But right now I'm still looking at Battlehawks, Panthers, Brahmas, and Stallions. Still looking at as the favorites right now to run it back in the playoffs. And potentially, we see our first ever four-peat in football.
That would be pretty record-breaking.
Stallions.
For the UFL team would be pretty funny too.
Yeah. Dominated the USFL for 2 years. First year in the UFL, won the championship, and they're looking poised to make another deep run. That's a good team. Well, we'll be keeping you updated on everything that's going on all season with the UFL. We'll be following it very closely.
Got some spring football.
Doing weekly updates. Yeah.
While it's off season, we got something to look forward to.
Yeah, there you go. It was a pretty fun league to watch last year. Some interesting and different rules and just an interesting style of play as well. So spring football, a lot to look forward to. Well, we're going to go shift gears kind of back towards the NFL now. And I mean, there's a number of proposed rule changes, but I think we got to talk about this free agent signing that just happened real quick, Caveman. That's just so hilarious.
Russell Wilson, Mr.
Russell
Unlimited,
Wilson, man.
To the New York Giants.
That's the big story.
Denver's boy, Russell Wilson.
It's crazy.
We are with the New York Giants.
We're still paying Russell Wilson, and so now for the second year in a row, we're paying Russell Wilson to play against us. Team. And the crazy thing is that doesn't even bother me because we got our guy. We got Bo Nix, and we're feeling good.
It doesn't. It won't bother you unless Bo Nix, like his second season, turns out to be what's the guy's name? Locke.
Drew Lock.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just saying it doesn't bother you until your plan A goes to shit. Then it will bother you.
You can never be as bad as the Giants.
That's true. Very true.
You can never be as bad as the Giants.
Wait, so are you saying that the Giants are worse than the Saints?
Yes.
They might be the worst team in the NFL right now, just in terms of how they're run. I mean, it's been a clown show for years, man. They just can't get anything done right.
Because it's like we were the most broke team that we got out of it. We made some bad re-signings, but we got out of it. And for some reason we always find a way to end. Like this was like the most losses we've had in a season since like 2003. I mean, this is probably a 4-year stretch of rebuild. It's not really anything.
I mean,
that we're used to.
If I were the Giants, I wouldn't have even bothered signing Russell Wilson. You got Jameis Winston. First of all, the conversations between these two need to be televised because what are Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson talking? Jameis is just hilarious. Russell Wilson's a huge cornball. Like what are they talking? The conversations that are going to be had there gonna be peak.
Just get another Hard Knocks over there. That's all.
Please, let's
Hard Knocks.
Do it again. We gotta do it again. Run it back, Hard Knocks.
Run it back.
And I mean, I would have just had Jameis personally. He's the perfect tank quarterback. Knowing New York, they're gonna screw this up somehow. Where you're gonna somehow win too many games to again keep you out from a position of drafting a quarterback. With Russell Wilson, somehow you're gonna find a way to not be able to tank for Arch and then still be in the market for a quarterback while missing out on him. I just know that's what's going to happen. That they're going to somehow find a way to not be in a position to draft Arch Manning, miss out on the quarterback again.
But getting Russ is why they're going to win too many games.
Because now they're going to be like they're not taking Shedeur Sanders here now.
No.
I mean, you re-sign Tommy DeVito, you bring in Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. That screams to me we're not going quarterback. So, but they're going to find a way to not be in a position to get Arch Manning and probably miss out on their guy.
They're going to be re-signing another, it's going to be, but they're going to re-sign Derek Carr. They're going to sign Derek Carr or something after next season because they're not going to be in a position to get a quarterback and they got to just sign somebody.
Tebow!
He's not coming back. He's never coming back.
So, a clown show the New York Giants organization is. I will say this season, I think, is going to be must-watch TV, not because they're going to be good, but because they're going to be hilariously bad. Try to get some New York Giant highlights in your life this upcoming season. I mean, it's going to be a hilariously bad season.
Giants fans, you getting that jersey? You getting Russell Wilson Giants jersey? Anyone? Yeah. End up drafting Sanders or Ward anyways.
They would, man.
Yeah. Just make it look.
Spend all these resources on the quarterback and then go and get this guy. Anyways, who knows what the Giants are going to do this they have no idea what they're doing.
What's-
This organization just doesn't
what's
have a
his,
clue in
like,
the world.
contract?
Russell Wilson or Jameis's?
Russell Wilson. Jameis
He-
deserves as much money as he wants.
Russ
That's-
it's a 1 year, $10.5 million deal.
I mean, they really could just draft.
I mean,
this
so it is
rookie
just
deal. Like,
it's
why
a
not?
1 year prove it deal. Jameis 2 years, $8 million. Said nothing long term, I guess, but
Yeah, Jameis deserves the max,
I-
contract.
I mean, you think like the Browns might take Shador with their second pick, but I also see a lot of people just mocking it and having them go and take Abdul Carter and just put Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett on the same defensive line.
Yeah,
And that's not the craziest thing to me. I mean, they're in cap hell right now, and it's like, why bring a quarterback into that situation? Just load up some defensive pieces around and be terrible again, and go and try to draft another quarterback again next year. And what will probably be a better QB class. If you're going to take a quarterback, take one later in the draft. The
Yeah.
Giants, though, no, they're going to probably. Kyle's probably right. They'll probably end up drafting Shador anyways.
well, let's see.
This isn't a huge signing, but I just think it's interesting that AJ Dillon, Saquon Barkley are now on the same team. The two largest quads at the running back position, both on the same roster. Another minor signing that I just thought was noteworthy to bring up: Miles Sanders be joining Javonte Williams on the Cowboys. So I mean, it's like, wow, we got two average running backs.
Another awkward moment, kind of like this Giant situation. Just
two 1 year deals there out of those guys.
an awkward moment waiting to happen. You're just waiting to see what's going to go down this next season. Like, you see these signings, you're like, what's really going to happen?
So it kind of flew under the radar. Tyler Conklin to the Chargers, and Benjamin St. Juste also picked up by Los Angeles. So
That's not
kind of
bad.
interesting there.
Still,
I mean, Conklin,
$90 million to spend. Let's start
Right.
spending some real money here,
like,
guys.
$3 million on a tight end, and the guy who like had some flashes of being a good receiver, but just disappeared. St. Juste was a real. I thought has always been a solid cornerback.
He's
He's good depth for you. So right there, not too many other big signings that have been
There's
missed right now.
one other, Stephon Diggs.
Oh,
for the
that's right. Actually,
Patriots.
what am I
We
talking
forgot
about? I'm
about
just
that one.
totally spaced out. Yeah, let's head over to the AFC East. The Patriots.
Picking up Stephon Diggs from the Houston Texans. How will he come back after that injury? That's kind of the awkward moment that you have there. And I don't know. If Jimmy said that the Patriots got a little bit desperate, I feel like kind of. But why not try to go and get at least something? Get some more weapons. Just add as much as you can.
Right. And here's the thing. Is Travis Hunter going to still be there? Because if he is, I think they still just go and take him, and they have Diggs and Travis Hunter.
Why not? Why
Right?
not?
I mean, you might be thinking, oh, why not go with best available defensive player? But
Their
Man.
corners are pretty good. Their D line been improving. They lost their interior guy to the Saints. They traded Godja, so they could probably.
Right.
They're
Well,
not going to use that.
I mean,
early
I
of a
think they did a
pick.
good job of really making moves in free agency on defense where you can just afford to go for a luxury pick on offense and take a
Yeah.
guy like Travis Hunter if he's there.
Because they got Milton Williams. I forgot. So they did
Yeah.
have an interior
Milton
guy
Williams,
to replace.
Carlton Davis also joined in.
Yeah.
Harold Landry and
Why?
I never know how you say this guy's name. Caleb and Chasen, a couple of edge guys right there. Robert Spillane and Marcus Epps both signed some free agent deals there. I love that.
Pick
Spillane
Travis
signing, dude.
Hunter if he's there.
Take
Track.
Hunter. Yeah.
The Patriots they might be back, man.
Now you just
that
really,
looks kind of solid.
now you just really need a tight end, and there are sneaky good tight end picks. That I mean, you could Colston Loveland. I think he could easily drop to the second round. You could swing back around, take Hunter round 1, get Loveland round 2. I mean, dude, the roster could be loaded. That's a ton of pressure on Drake May though, because it's like it's time to perform, kid. We went out, we spent the money, we used the draft picks. Like, you better not bomb. But beefed up the offensive line a little bit as well. We'll see. I mean, or they could end up going ultra boring and just like taking an offensive lineman and trying to circle back in the second round. But I say if Hunter's there, take him. If Hunter isn't there, like if for somehow he ends up going to like New York or the Browns or Titans or whatever, somebody reaches for him there, but I think Shador and Campbell are going first. Then, and like the Giants might take him. Then if he's not there, I say just take the best available player, whether they're defense or offense. But if Hunter's available, he's the best available player. So take him, line them up alongside Stephon Diggs, circle back around, try to get Colston Loveland. I think, early second round, I think he'll be there. I think
that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. I can't lie.
Yeah, that would be real good.
So if he's available right there, why not?
Go for it.
That's their best available receiver, potentially your best available DB. So if people want him to get
right. Well, then you got the luxury of just experimenting with them and throwing him around. I don't hate the Stephon Diggs signing. Maybe they overpaid a little bit. Whatever. He's you've got the money. He was on pace for a pretty good. I think it was like 1,200 yards last season before he had that ACL injury. That's my big concern. It wasn't like his play had dropped off at all from last season. Like, he was playing really well. I would know. I had him in fantasy football. He was pretty solid until he tore his ACL. So that's it. That's my only concern is, he's on, 33 now, 32, 33. It's just tough to come back from those injuries, even when you're a young player. But being this old, we'll see how he comes back from it. Will he be available day one? But I mean, if I had to take any of the remaining free agent wide receivers out there, I think he was the best. T. Higgins was off the market. Keenan Allen would probably be the second best, but it's like the same thing where it's like he's also just as old as Stephon Diggs is. You don't know how many years you got out of him. And who would you just straight up, Allen or Stephon Diggs? Who are you taking?
I would rather have Stephon Diggs over Keenan Allen. Is Amari Cooper not re-signed with the Bills?
He isn't. I just think he just kind of, you thought, he'll really start popping off there in Buffalo, and then he just disappeared.
Yeah, he's got time to learn the offense now. You won't have to have Keon Coleman or Travis Hunter teaching him the routes middle of the season. I feel like he's probably just going to re-sign with the Bills.
Probably. I mean, I haven't re-signed him yet, so what are they waiting for? That's the question. If you're the Bills, man, what are you doing? You guys need to get a receiver. Josh Palmer is not it, guys. I don't know. People seem to like that, but Palmer, he had just as many drop problems as what's his face.
As Johnston.
Exactly.
Both of them had drops. It was just Palmer really only had one game where it was a bunch of drops. It was Quentin Johnston had multiple drops in a mix of multiple different games. It was really, they lost a big game that would have got him honestly a better playoff seed over you guys, and it wouldn't have put them against Baltimore. It would have put you guys against Baltimore in the first round They would have been just a one higher seed. But Palmer and Johnston were just dropping it all game. It was that primetime game they had against the Bengals or the Ravens that they just were in it the entire game and just.
Was that a Sunday night or a Monday night? Because I know they played both of them on primetime. I think you were talking. I think it was the Bengals game, man. No, they won that one. So it was the Ravens. Like the Ravens offense was just clicking. And yeah, like I mean, Herbert was making some big throws. It was a heck of a quarterback deal. And
Yeah.
you just like just clang off their hands.
So like, give that guy some weapons.
Guys had dude stuck both their hands in concrete before and let it dry before the game.
And same thing with the Bills. They had was that Kincaid that dropped that pass to lose the game to the Chiefs
this year? Championship? Yeah, that was Kincaid.
It's like they've had so many issues happen to lose them games against the Chiefs.
Like the past 2 seasons, drops against the Chiefs in the playoffs just killed the Bills. And then they're going to go out and get a guy that has plenty of drop problems in Los Angeles. Well, those are some of the big free agent signings. But, Caveman, we also have some interesting rule changes being proposed. There's, I think, 9 total. Some of them are just, like roster limitation things or how early they can get kickoff balls warmed up. But some of them are some pretty big playing rule changes or playoff seeding changes. So we got to jump into these and talk about it. I'm going to start with the first one that comes to mind here is the Green Bay Packers want to prohibit the tush-push play. I think this is stupid, personally. There's really only one team that does it at a successful level. The Eagles. I mean, plenty of other teams try it and fail. I mean, we watched it not work.
A lot of times.
It worked, but it got a bad spot, so it didn't work in the AFC Championship with Josh Allen and the Bills. I mean, yeah, so sorry, like the Eagles are really good at running the tush push, but you know what they're also really good at is getting themselves into, first and goal at the 1 situations, or first and second and short, third and short, fourth and short situations. You don't want them to run that. Stop letting them get in like these 3rd and 1 situations or these like at the 1 yard line, at the goal line situations.
Right.
You be better at stopping that. Like the tush push isn't the only thing that they're doing at a high level that's helping them, that help them dominate other teams. They ran the ball. They play defense really well. They run the ball really well. I mean, they get themselves, they just stay ahead of the chains. They stay on schedule. So like banning the tush push is just dumb. I mean, that they're like, find a way to stop it or stop them. Like, don't let them get into those situations as often. But it's not having such an unfair impact on the game. That's my opinion on it. I don't know. Do you have a different one?
I don't think it's impacted the game really at all. They really had shown in the Super Bowl too that they didn't really need to use it too often.
Right. Did they even run the tush push in the Super Bowl? Like maybe one time they got like a 1st and goal. It wasn't even all that prevalent in the biggest game of the year, and they crushed Kansas City. Like the real final score of that game was 40-6. 3 minutes left, 40-6. Eagles gave up. They're like, we're Super Bowl champs.
I don't think
they stopped playing.
I don't think it really changes the game all that much to me. No. It's fair enough to say that they should stop doing it, right? Like could get a little boring if they're running it like 6 times in one game, but at the same time, they're getting themselves to that one where all they need is half a yard. Right. And if they can trust their guys enough to just do that every time, then why would they call anything else?
Like they're not running this play on 3rd and 5. Like if you don't want them to run it, try to keep them at 3rd and 5. Like all you're saying is, "Oh, we're not good enough to keep them out of the short yardage situations." Wah. That's what they hear.
Because they can't run that on like even 3rd and 2. You're only getting like a yard or half a yard at most from that every single time.
These crappy, like the Titans weren't running a lot of tush push. Why? Well, because a lot of their games, their 3rd down situations were 3rd and longs. They weren't getting to the 1 yard. They weren't on the 1 yard line a whole lot because they were a bad offense that couldn't stay ahead of the chains and stay ahead of the schedule.
It's like that's really just their play to just really work the momentum on you while also controlling the pace of the game. Because they can run that and they know they can line up and wait for the entire play clock and they know that they're going to call it and they're still going to get the first down or score or whatever. And you just have to wait for it to happen. It's like really just kind of like any team has that one play in their bag that they're going to call.
Yeah.
This just happens to be theirs.
And like I said, it's not the only thing that makes the Eagles so dumb. Like you're like if I know the Broncos have to play the Eagles next year, I'm not worried that the tush push is going to be this. I'm worried that their elite running game and passing game and that defense are going to beat us. You know, I'm worried that we're going to have a hard time getting pressure, and Jalen Hurts is going to have a lot of time to find his 2 all-pro caliber wide receivers that we're going to miss a run assignment or a gap scheme, and Saquon Barkley's going to rip off a 70-yard touchdown on us,
If you don't want to get beat by the tush push, if you don't want it to come down to a tush push, don't let it come down to that situation.
Precisely. All right. Well, this is a rule I am all for, actually. It's proposed by Detroit, amends Rule 8, Section 4. It would eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty imposed for defensive holding or illegal contact. You would still get the yardage for it. It'd still be 5 yards, but it's not an automatic first down.
I like that.
Please vote to change this. I hate that you can get on 3rd and a billion miles, get an illegal hold, and the drive continues. Okay.
It's such a bailout call.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Is there holding? Okay, move it 5 yards closer and run it back. But
they let the offense run it back.
They give them a 5-yard penalty and then to just give it an automatic first down,
I'm all for this one just because there's already so many rules that help and benefit the offense, I feel like, in the call.
Well, and like these calls can be such judgment calls, and they can get so ticky-tacky at times that it's
the
like
offense every time.
Yeah, I'm like, right. I'm not saying we don't like it does need to be called, but when
if it's
such
a 50-50 call, when it should be 50-50.
Right. When it's such a judgment call like this, to just have it so heavily award the offense if it gets called is not really takes away the competitive balance of the game. And I mean, we all see it happen for the Chiefs. They get that call a lot, and it bails them out. But even without them, it's just like a game where that's just getting really interesting, and then you see that flag come down, and you're like, "Are you serious? Like, are we really gonna? Is this drive really gonna keep going after that?" Like, I'm all for giving the offense another shot on 3rd down. Maybe it's 3rd and 4, and you get the call, and okay, the yardage is enough for a first down. But like, it can't be like 3rd and 17, and then somebody just chucks up a prayer, and it gets knocked down. But here comes the flag, and there we go. Like the play with the drive continues on, because I feel like that rule also really benefits running quarterbacks that can extend the play, because that's when these penalties start to come out. Yep. So I mean, guys like Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, that are just really mobile and move around a lot. Herbert, even a little bit, or CJ Stroud, even Jordan Love can do this a little bit too. You can just run around and scramble for a little bit, chuck up a prayer. And I mean, if you just chuck up a prayer, but if you see something happen downfield, you can just chuck up this prayer, feeling very confident that you're going to get a first down and your drive is going to keep going. And I don't like that. It just makes playing defense, which is already incredibly hard, even harder. So I think this would add just a little bit better competitive balance. And then it's not going to make us, every time we see a flag on like a third down passing play, that'll make us all,
going to be
in
favor of the offense.
We all like roll our eyes and groan unless it's our team, we're like, is this flag for my team? Like, but for the rest of us, we're just like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, it ruins some of the fun of the game. So I'm all for this. I think, we just take away the automatic first. We don't need it. Personal fouls, automatic first down. That's fair. Make it an automatic first, no matter the others, But this is such a ticky-tacky judgment call foul that you can't just be giving it so much power for the offense. Okay. This is another rule change we got coming up here from Philadelphia, Rule 16, Section 1. To align postseason and regular season overtime rules, granting both teams an opportunity to possess the football. Let's see, Kyle's commenting in. We were just talking about a rule to eliminate automatic first downs after a 5-yard penalty or illegal contact, unless the yardage is enough to gain a first. So still keep the 5-yard penalty, but if if it happens, the offense doesn't automatically get a first down. So if it's 3rd and 8, now it's 3rd and 3, run it back, try again. So the offense is still getting a slight boost. Now you're closer to the sticks and everything. You can open your playbook up a bit more, but, doesn't just, with a ticky-tacky 50-50 call like that, it doesn't just completely flip a game because the ref, one ref in this game might see it as a whole, while another ref in a different game's not going to see it, And now we're moving on to the Eagles. Their rules change is basically suggesting that even in the regular season, both teams get a possession. I'm kind of for this. Extend the quarter by 10 minutes or by 5 minutes, so it's a 15-minute overtime period. Each team gets to possess the football, no matter what happens on the first drive. I'm all for this because, I mean, even still, like, after they added, a touchdown has to be to win it. Now teams know that it's, nearly 60% clip that the team that wins the coin toss wins the game anyways. I don't like that. It feels like overtime. It comes down to the coin toss. I think
like whoever gets the ball first is who wins it.
I say we don't even need to do away with it. Like overtime, the home team basically, let's complain the home field advantage. The home team gets to go last, overtime. Like the team on the road, they go and like at the beginning of the game, they get to decide on the coin. They get to call the coin flip. So if you're the home team that's complaining the home field advantage, you get to go last, or maybe the coin flip just determines who gets the ball first. You can strategize that way, but still, then you want the ball last instead, so you know what you have to do. I like that. I'm all for it. I don't like games feeling like they come down to coin flip sometimes. Like the only time I feel like it doesn't matter is when it's two bad teams, and that's like they're just both teams are trying to lose the game. You're like, I don't need to see
Chiefs game that we had this year.
Yeah,
went to overtime. Chiefs won the toss, and even Baker Mayfield just threw his head back in the side to himself.
Well, I mean, Baker leads a masterful drive in the rain to tie the game up and get it, get them in overtime, all for the Chiefs to win the toss. And all right, well, you lost. Let's pack it up. It's, it just sucks. It's stupid. So I'm all for it with this rule change
No,
by
why
the
not?
Eagles. Yeah.
What do we have?
Could do
What's-
something similar to college football overtime. I don't think it would be starting them. I think with this change, it wouldn't be just starting them at the 25. It's just both teams get a kickoff and a chance to put a drive together, basically.
That's fun.
It's just going to add more drama and excitement to close games already, too. Like, who
That's
doesn't
fun.
want? Who doesn't want to get, like, we're going to extra time. Who doesn't want to give both teams a shot? You know?
Why not? Why not?
I mean, this could, result in some real interesting, like, oh, well, this one team went on a long overtime drive and left the other team with not a lot of time to score. Like, it could, there's still ways to, impose your will and make it interesting as well. So those are the big three playing rule changes. Okay, man, you're for eliminating 5 yards or the automatic first downs and giving both teams overtime rules, and we're both against banning the tush push. I think.
Yeah. Don't ban the tush push.
Tush push is fine. Well, we
what was
also
our rule change about the seating? Is that the one you're about to do next?
yes. So there's a number of other bylaw rule changes that aren't going to really, for us as fans, change how we view the game, except for this one that's proposed by the Detroit Lions. And so this is where I know it's not just a salty team that got a wild card spot, because they were the number one seed. They want to amend current playoff seeding so that your seed is based off of regular season win-loss record alone, and completely do away with division winners automatically locking up a top 4 seed. I'm real on the fence about this one, man. I see it from both perspectives. I don't know if I've fully come to a decision here, because the football purist in me is like, you can't get rid of division winners.
It's like the conference winners in the brackets are mainly like your 1 seeds, and like it depends on your record and where you're at, like where you played.
Like I know the NBA did away with conference winners, but it's
like, why you even play
different,
conference games? They also play so many too that like your tiebreakers come down to different things than those conference games. The conference games are big in tiebreakers when it comes to the end of the season.
They're huge. And I think those can be, like, even when one team's really bad and the other team's really good, that's your division opponent, man. I mean, even like if you're ass, like you can take some pride in hurting their playoff seeding chances a little bit. I mean, we can see like a 10-3 division leader come in and play a 2-11, bottom feeder at their division. We saw it with the Browns and Steelers. The Browns were terrible. The Steelers were, vying for playoff position, and the Browns, they beat them on their home turf in front of their fans. Like, the Browns season, they got really nothing to play for. But that's your division opponent. I think that's gonna make these division games not have the same feel to them,
Yeah, that's weird. It's like it's still a rivalry, but then at the same time, like they're fighting for their position, like you're saying.
Like I get it too, because I mean, it can just be really fair to a team that's in a good division, making them go and play a road playoff game. We saw it this year with the Packers had to go to Philly despite having the better record than both the Rams and the Buccaneers. We saw
the Vikings too.
I mean the Commanders too. They had to go and play on the road despite having 12 wins. The Vikings had 14 wins and they had to go on the road. And they just were in the best division in football last season, in the regular season at least. And, I mean, there was a year where like the 7-9 Seahawks won their division because the West was so bad, and then the Saints, who they had like 11 wins that year. They were like 11-5. Had to go on the road to Seattle and play. They played the Seahawks in Seattle, and like a team that probably would have been a 3 seed goes into a hostile environment, and like you get that home crowd behind you, and it's a different atmosphere. It doesn't matter what the record is. I mean, it's just a whole new environment. Seattle rallied behind their fans. That's the Beast Quake run, and Saints are out in the wild card round, despite having 4 more wins than the team they were playing. Because it's not any given Sunday thing where anybody can beat anyone.
I think maybe you get rid of those games don't matter as much when you get past the division winners, so that like the Vikings and you still had a decent seed. That's what I don't know. I don't. It takes away from the game. You get rid of moments, and like it's hard to make cool moments and just memories happen when the entire NFC North is the top 3 teams. Like maybe they get a home field advantage game against someone with a better record, but they're not a higher seed. Something like that. If we want to base it on just like their overall record and not just conference, then maybe we seed it based on the conference, and then the game matchups and where they're played can be decided on record and all that. Or like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Does the Beastquake happen in the Superdome? Or is that what you're saying? Like the 12th man just rallied, like they all came together. Like Seattle football fans are different. We always talk about that. Stadium's crazy. Like, does that happen in the Superdome though? Does the Beastquake? Did you get to see that? They didn't make the playoffs and win their division.
And here's the I just don't think that the record thing is that. It doesn't matter once you get to the postseason. Like you're there, it's a whole different ball game. And I mean, if home field made that, like the best teams are just gonna win regardless of the situations they gotta get to. They gotta be in. Like the Chiefs, let's look at the Super Bowl they won 2 years ago. They had to go and win 2 road playoff games because they came in as a 3 seed. They did it. The Giants came in as a 6 seed and won the Super Bowl. They had to play 3 road playoff games twice on both their Super Bowl runs. They were a wild card team, so they got no home playoff games, and they won the Super Bowl. The Rams came into the postseason the year they won the Super Bowl as a 4 seed, and I mean, just by how everything worked out, with a monumental round 1 upset of a 1 seed with the Niners going in and beating Aaron Rodgers, the Rams knocking out the 4 seed, or not knocking out the 2-seeded Patriots on the road, just got a home game in the NFC Championship. And so I can understand why people feel like it can be unfair, but I don't think it happens as often, that often, where you're like, oh, this is just one team's just getting screwed. Like this team's just in a super bad division and is going to still get a home playoff game. And it's like, I mean, if you're a good team, if they're a worse team than you, even if you got to go on the road, if you really got a championship mental, and you would go on the road and beat them still. So I think it's a little bit of a cop out excuse, and you just can't take away from the importance of these division games.
Yeah.
And I think that's all this is going to do.
That's half your season,
right? I think it's a third of your season now, but it's incredible. They're incredibly important,
the Vikings didn't win 14 home games this year. They won some away games.
Right. They had to go on the road and win
play every game in freaking Minnesota.
And it was like they didn't even really, it wasn't even a true road game for Minnesota. They still got their asses handed to them. Like that.
They played in Arizona.
They had to play in Arizona because of the fires
in LA. it was too dangerous to play in LA.
There's a large population of Arizona that are like retirees from Minnesota that just moved there to get away from the cold. So it was like, I think they took like the statistics said like the crowd split was actually like 51-49
there was more
in favor of the Vikings. So that was almost a home game for them. It was basically a neutral site game, and they got manhandled. Like, doesn't, like, just based off of that performance alone, it wouldn't matter where you were seated, because if that was like you were just going to get your asses kicked, somebody would probably just come into Minnesota and beat you. I'm just going to be honest. If that's how you showed up for your first postseason game, and then I mean, the Rams went in Philly and almost beat them. They probably gave Philly the toughest run. That was probably Philly's like biggest challenge.
Yeah,
that was their closest and toughest game they had all postseason. The Rams took them down to the wire, and like the Rams are cold, like a team from California going into snowy Philadelphia and nearly coming out there with the win. Like, that's a team that one or two different plays go their way, might have been hosting the Lombardi Trophy instead.
Yeah.
Right. Like those were two legit NFC contenders playing each other. That Rams and Vikings game, that was an NFC playoff team playing an NFC contender. Just how it is.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was clear that Sam Darnold was not really their move. That's when we really found out. Their last few losses of the season, you're like, okay.
The two biggest games of his entire career, and Sammy Boy crapped down his leg and got sacked. What was it, like 14 times or something in those two games? I mean, he just was on the ground a lot. So
they didn't have a bad offensive line at all. Like, it was really just kind of came down to like bad decision making and not escaping the pocket well when it got too late. Jimmy called it, though. Gotta say it. Called the Jared Goff choke and the Sam Darnold choke. It just took all season long.
We wanted to down them. We wanted to root for these up and coming teams, but hey, he's been watching. He's a Packers fan. He's been watching these Vikings and Lions. He knows what the nature of them are. Sometimes, I mean, you can take a cat out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the cat.
It's kind of how I felt after the Atlanta Falcons illegally signed Kirk Cousins.
Illegally?
Yeah, they did their calls early for their free agency, and they set up meetings with Kirk Cousins and all those guys early, like 3 different guys last free agency, and they got in trouble for it too. Their karma came back to them.
Yep, that's true.
Kirk Cousins deal ain't gonna work out for him. I'm telling you.
That's another big question: is where he's gonna go.
They got him on a 4-year deal.
Is he just going to be an expensive backup, or do you trade him into who? Like, who's going to trade for him?
I think expensive backup at this point. Just see how he does next season. Going into next season.
Awful year to need a quarterback like that. Like, the best guys available are all old vets that are like clearly washed. There's maybe 2 real potential high-end starter quarterbacks. Everyone else is a huge mystery that could have a good ceiling, but has an incredibly low floor that you don't want to get. So
that's why I'm fine with us having Derek Carr still right now. We can worry about that situation when his contract is up. For now, at least he can play 4 weeks, get injured, and then we'll see if our backups are good enough to play when his contract is up. We get time to figure it out. We don't have to go into our offseason worrying about filling that hole, because when you go late into the offseason, don't have a quarterback, feels like it's such a void.
Right.
You just feel screwed.
Okay, man. If you're like, do you think the Saints would even have a possibility squeaking into the playoffs?
Probably not this year.
Which is, I don't think they're bad enough to lose enough games to be in position for the number 1 pick. But I'm like, man, there's the thought of Arch going to New Orleans, like bringing the Mannings back to Louisiana,
Bringing it back, bringing the Archie experiment part 2.
That's yeah. I mean that's like for me that would be the ideal place for Arch to go. I think that would just be.
I don't know if we're gonna tank hard enough.
That's the thing is I just don't think you guys are bad at like that bad of a team to lose enough games to be in position.
And it sucks because Tampa Bay is probably winning the division if we really think about it.
We'll see how Michael Penix plays. Like this is really for the most part his rookie season. He had a couple of those games last year were like just high intensity preseason games, but he looked good. But this is, you're going to have a full year. Teams are going to have more tape on you.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting. We're going to see what really happens.
That offensive line did get a little worse, so we'll see.
I'm honestly not worried about I'm worried about the Panthers more than I'm worried about the Falcons right now because they were figuring it out more at the end of the season. They had almost dropped 40 points on the freaking Chiefs.
They took the Chiefs. They took the Chiefs and the Eagles down to the wire. And I mean, they took Tampa Bay into overtime, down to the wire overtime win, or loss for them. But
that's who I'm more afraid of than I am Atlanta.
Man, I mean, they got some guys there for sure. They missed out on Milton Williams. He got snagged at the last minute, but I think Bobby Brown, Trayshawn Wharton, two, maybe not on Milton Williams levels, but they're two guys that are very good, and it's depth for that defensive line. I like the Rico Dowdle signing, man. I think Rico had a good season last year, man. He had a pretty good season. Yards. I think they need another he would be a good two-headed backfield guy, like the kind of power first and second down or short yardage type of back. And then you have a change of pace speed guy back there. And there's plenty of guys like that in the draft for the Panthers. Panthers would certainly still got a team to keep an eye on.
They still got Chuba and that guy from Texas that they got.
That's right. They do got Chuba. Chuba was having himself a good year as well. We'll see about Jonathan Brooks, dude. That's two.
Yeah, Jonathan
Forgot
Brooks.
about him, dude. Oh my God. 2 ACLs tears on the same knee.
That's why I think they got Rico Dowdle. They're probably I think they're moving on from Jonathan Brooks.
I don't know if that guy's going to ever be able to really find the foothold in the NFL. He might be a future UFL stud, though. We'll see that. It's brutal to tear the same ACL twice. I feel so heartbroken for that dude. That is just killer. All right. Well, those are our NFL rule changes. Our sound guy just left, hasn't come back. So I guess we're not going on a music break. We're just going to roll on straight to the final whistle here and jump into some NBA and NHL playoff talk. Let's start in the NHL. And actually, before we even get into any of that, we got to just talk about our man, Alexander Ovechkin. Six goals away. So close to breaking it.
6 goals away.
When is it coming? I mean, you don't want to be the team he does it against, too. They did lose last night, too. I think it was Winnipeg. They're playing the Jets, which was they're the two top teams in the country in terms of total record.
Yeah, they're both really good right now.
Let's see, where is that game? Yeah, it was the Jets. 3-2 loss, but Ovechkin another goal. I'm still just trying to wrap my head around it. We're gonna probably see Wayne Gretzky's record get broken.
It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing to me.
And that's the go, man. His record is supposed to be untouchable. What is going on?
He scored number 889 last night against the Jets.
Good game out of Connor Hellbeck, though. Besides that, 29 shots allowed. He saved 27, so he had a good game.
Shots allowed really isn't on the goalie because you're in the goal the entire time. You're not defending the people that are. That's a lot of shots on goal is kind of on the defense.
Well, I feel like they gave up a good amount of shots on goal last night, and he saved a lot of them for the most part. Well, especially Winnipeg, they just were better at scoring. They had 4 less shot attempts and still got 1 more goal in on them. So that was the matchup between the top 2 teams last night. But we're gonna go look at this playoff picture right now. I've got not the biggest hockey watcher in years past. I'll admit, so I don't get their playoff rules as well, but it appears like a lot of the seeding is based on your points for the season. And the Bleacher Report predicted bracket that I've got right here. Some of our round 1 matchups. So we've got, let's see, it's the Central and Pacific Division.
They've already clinched, and they're over 100 points. So I think it is based off points.
Okay. Well, one of our round 1 matchups, Central, would be Winnipeg playing, it looks like the St. Louis Blues. Yeah, it would be St. Louis as in the wild card race. You'd have the Minnesota Wild would be playing the Golden Knights round 1. Knights would be the Pacific 1 team. A Kings and Edmonton Oilers matchup round 1, that would be a doozy. I think the match, if this is what the first round matchups are, though, we got Colorado and Dallas.
Oh,
I'm an Avs fan. And Dallas would have the higher seed. I'm like, oh, that's a brutal first round matchup to get. The Avs have been looking good. The defense has been better, but also the wings have been. They added Rantanen, and they've been on a tear recently as well.
That would be just devastating gauntlet run through the playoffs, because next round it would be Winnipeg.
Yeah, probably. I don't think St. Louis beats Winnipeg. So yeah, then you got to play the Jets, and then who's coming? I would say it's probably Edmonton and Vegas next round. I think Edmonton beats Vegas. Then you got to play Edmonton round 3.
Yeah, in the conference finals, that's tough. That's a gauntlet.
Seeding is so stupid. It should be 1 versus 8 tiers. Second and third place teams in each division playing the first round. Yeah, that's what. That's what I was seeing. Yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. That doesn't make a ton of sense.
That is weird.
I don't know. That's another big part of that. Having good seeding is getting to play a lower seed to begin, not round 1 having just an absolute doozy of a team to play against. But here we are. Be a brutal stretch for the Avs, certainly. Could they do it? Yeah. I'm never going to write off Nate McKinnon,
Yeah, faith. That's the MVP right there.
Dang. I like Winnipeg's having a good season, but I think Dallas has a better team just overall when they go come down to the playoffs. They were a team I had circled to go pretty far. Yeah. It's the West is just it's unfair, man. That's just so crazy.
The gauntlet.
It is. The East is going to be no picnic either, though.
Yeah, because there's definitely some squads over there. I don't want to go up against Toronto or Florida or Tampa Bay in any of those first round games.
No. Capitals having a good season too.
Yeah, Capitals are good.
So we're looking at over here in the East, it'd be Florida. Looking like their round one matchup would be, I think that's Ottawa. Yeah, that would be Ottawa. And then we'd have the Maple Leafs and Lightning. That would be another doozy round one matchup.
Oh yeah. I don't even know who I would predict right there. I mean, like Florida probably goes out of the first round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that matchup is tough.
I don't know. Maybe I think the Lightning. Maybe that's another one. Like I don't know. I don't know how to decide that. The Capitals, they would be getting, the Metropolitan 1 leaders. They'd be getting Montreal. So, two Canadian teams would be just knocked out,
Yeah. And honestly, I'm rooting for the Jersey Devils against Carolina right there. Just for Frank the Tank. I'm rooting for the Jersey Devils. It's been a long time coming since you've seen them in the freaking playoff bracket in the East for the NHL. They're a super young team. They're one I want to see them take one right here. That's one series. I want to see them at least make it to the second round.
Yeah. I mean, they get to the second round. The Capitals are having a good season, but right, I mean that could be they could certainly sneak up on them. They play. I mean, it would be a kind of a Cinderella run out of the Jersey, but they could do it. That's not like that would not be the worst second round matchup for them,
Yeah, that's a one and 3 seed.
Crap, you get a little momentum. I could see a second round matchup between either Florida and Toronto or Tampa Bay. I could see either of those series going to 7 games, right? And then boom, that's kind of a tired team coming into the championship. I won't get ahead of myself. That's probably not going to happen, but it's always fun to speculate which teams could go on the Cinderella run. So, and I have a feeling I might just be, bummed out about how the first round goes for the Avs. And
yeah,
I'll need a Cinderella or an underdog to root for, because I mean, however that. I mean, even if Winnipeg drops, like I would not be thrilled to about having Winnipeg round one either.
Yeah, no, like that's no fun.
I mean, there's just Winnipeg's got a 5-game lead on Colorado, so I don't know exactly where we are in the season, but they would have to go on a pretty significant skid, and Colorado would have to go on a tear. Dallas would also have to drop a few in that time period for them to jump up to the 1 and get a better first round matchup. I don't see that happening. So you're likely coming in as, either the central 2 or 3 seed, and you're just going to have to square up with one of the heavyweights. Avs have 10 games left now. Yeah, so I mean, in that time, like they basically have to have Winnipeg lose 6-7 straight, and then win, 7-8 straight. Not the most unrealistic thing, but at this point in the season, pretty unlikely.
Pretty unlikely.
Well, that's.
I mean, it could be more beneficial to drop, maybe, for the Avs to drop. And then you don't have to play that first round matchup against Dallas.
Kind of like coming as a wild card. But then, I mean, they're really good on their home ice. And it's like you're kind of.
That's what helps too, yeah.
Yeah, you might be losing like that home ice advantage. I mean, even if you drop like to the one spot, like
Kings or the Oilers.
You're projected to play Vegas. And you don't have, you got to go on the road to play Vegas. I don't know if I want to do that either. Well, I don't know. Who are you guys liking for the NHL playoffs? Where do you think it all shakes out? I mean,
feeling the Capitals
right now. I think this bracket's pretty accurate to what we'll probably see here.
Yeah, that is probably what we're gonna see.
We might see some shifts. I mean, like if just to look at some wild card teams, the Rangers and Islanders are right on Montreal's ass. So I mean, they could catch up. Columbus and Detroit, they're like a few points back in that wild card race. So I don't know about them catching up. I mean, if like one of those New York teams sneaks in, like look out, that's certainly not. That could be a dangerous team round one. They always got some good ball clubs, or I guess hockey clubs there.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go to some of the teams trailing in this wild card race for the West. Yeah, Vancouver, Calgary, Utah. I mean, Vancouver's the closest. They're at 78, but they're about 3 points behind St. Louis. So that seems a little more set in stone in the West. I think the top teams, the playoff teams, are starting to pull away. I mean, St. Louis just can't go on can't drop a bunch here, And if one of those teams gets hot in like these final, 10 to 12 games of the end of the season, maybe we're gonna need to see, at least a decent backslide and a little bit of a hot streak from one team to kind of jump up in that wild card race here. All right, well, we're gonna jump over now to the NBA and what's going on here, and it's just as crazy, I'll say. There's a couple teams that have clinched. I know the Cavaliers and Thunder. That's what you call them. They've both clinched. The Thunder just hit 60 wins last night. Wow. I mean, a year removed from already having the 1 seed and winning like 58 games, right back in the same spot. 60-win season with the 1 seed again. Heck of a job by the whole OKC front office. Mark Daigneault, head coach. 60-12. Great season. Yeah, they got the Z
They're
next to
killing
their
it.
name.
Yeah, they clinched. It looks like Boston
Clinched their conference. So
Boston, Cleveland, too.
Oh, so I think they've clinched home court.
Yep.
Is what that looks like. Yep. Because there's 8 games left?
Yeah, the season ends on...
Or 10. There's 10 games left.
10 there, too, because the season ends April 11th. That's the last game of the season for the Nuggets, at least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So no one can catch them in terms of the 1 seed. They're as long as they...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No.
The Rockets are... Yeah, 13 games behind is the 2 seed in the West. Nobody's catching. Nobody's catching the
That's
Thunder,
crazy. I don't think not since like a set like one of those 70-win Bulls teams or the Warriors team.
Like
we've seen a team clinch.
Yeah, that bad. Holy crap! Wow. 83 wins, 83%.
I knew they were good, but wow, actually, kind of crazy. This play-in picture is really interesting. The Warriors, man.
They had a huge
before the trade deadline. They were in 11th. I mean, we were like, are they even going to make it? They're in sixth place now, just on a tear.
Jumped up 5 spots, dude.
That Jimmy Butler move
that really helped them.
Kyle saying OKC still a second round exit. Yeah, probably, but. Gotta give them props for a good regular season.
Yeah.
They have a really good defense, though, man. I mean, they're sick.
They really have stepped it up defensively from this year to last year, where I feel like I don't know if I can say second round exit anymore. They just look like a tougher team now.
Right now,
less injured.
They're projected to get the Clippers. And they kind of just have he's saying that. He's like, still second round exit.
No.
The Clippers. I mean, let's take a look at what these play-in matchups might be and try to.
Dude, the Timberwolves. It's getting scary. That's a 8 seed right there. Is not what I expected to see this season, dude.
LA. I don't know if you're the Clippers. I don't know if I want to be in a play-in situation. That doesn't exactly guarantee me getting into the playoffs. Could they beat Sacramento? Probably. Could they beat Dallas? Probably. If Phoenix sneaks in there.
Phoenix, I think Phoenix is going to go.
Which is possible because Dallas is just, AD is set to come back. If Anthony Davis is back with Kyrie, well, no, that's right, Kyrie's hurt.
Kyrie's not coming back, so it's AD and Clay.
I think they could give LA some problems. Then they're going to get just mollywopped by Thunder in round one. Yeah, I feel pretty confident about Minnesota locking up the 7. I think, or maybe the Warriors drop some and they move up or whatever, and they're the 6th seed. But I think whoever ends up in that playoff spot, I think the Warriors are probably going to hold on to that 6th seed. So Minnesota's going to have to make it in the play-in. I feel pretty confident that they're going to be the 7th seed. That's a tough 7th seed to have, I don't know. I'm not thrilled about playing Minnesota round one. Not as good as they were last season. So you're not I think they're much more beatable, but still they got Anthony Edwards, and that guy can just turn it on. We've seen he's a playoff riser. Warriors, that's on a team I'm super thrilled about. I would be super thrilled to play round one. Right now, our Nuggets are just behind Houston. I kind of don't really care where we go. I mean, there's not really an awesome or easy round one matchup, no matter, unless you're the 1 seed.
Yeah, unless you're the 1 seed.
OKC is really going to be the only team that gets an easy first round matchup. You're the 4 seed, probably going to have to play the Lakers, LeBron and Luka. I don't want that's not going to be easy playing those guys in the playoffs.
That's
you're the
matchup.
You're the 3 seed, Golden State or Minnesota, probably.
Fun.
Probably Golden State. They're cooking playoff Curry, playoff Jimmy Butler. But Jimmy Butler,
tough.
He's a playoff riser. That'll be a battle. Oh, you got the 2 seed, probably Minnesota. Anthony Edwards. We haven't really gotten to see Julius Randle's in the playoffs in a while, so
we'll see.
But he had some pretty good moments when he was healthy for that one Knicks run that they had, where I think that was the year Trae Young went on his villain arc.
Oh yeah, yep.
But some pretty good playoff moments from Julius Randle, right there.
That was a hype series right there. That was an awesome series with those 2 teams.
I mean, OKC's gonna get probably LA, maybe Sacramento or Dallas, maybe Phoenix, but I doubt it. And it's those are the only teams where I'm all right,
yeah. The only teams that can make it that I want to match up with are the Kings. Really, only the Kings,
dude.
Really, only the Kings.
The West is just so good. It's ridiculous, man. How is the West just this good?
Not as worried about the Suns anymore, but the Clippers with the healthy Kawhi, dude, that's been a good team all year. They've just been kind of locked in 5, 6, 7 seed all season long.
Honestly, the Clippers might give OKC some problems if Kawhi's healthy. That's the biggest question mark. I mean, they've been with him out there though.
They play so good.
They've been really good. Bro, Zubac is having one of an all-time rebounding season. He is been just a monster on the glass. That's been a huge difference making for them. And Kawhi, he's out there and healthy. He looks good, man. The movement's all fluid. I mean, he's able to shuffle his feet really well on defense, lock people up. His shooting's been really good. There hasn't been a ton of problems when he's out there on the court. That's the huge question mark with him is the health.
And at least now that he's healthy and they're having a pretty solid season, you kind of figure out what you need to positions you need to fill now.
Okay. Oh, and so I was looking at a little outdated records. Now the Mavericks are out of the plan, and it's the Suns that are the 10 seed. So
yeah, the Suns won last night. Or they played last night or the night before. They've kind of been on a little bit of a run, 6-4 in the last 10, and they're on a little 4-game win streak. So,
all right.
They've been playing without Bradley Beal in the lineup with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
He's kind of just holding them. Isn't Beal just holding them hostage? He's really not.
At this point, it kind of is. It kind of is like he's holding them hostage. And it's unfortunate because of what he's saying, that he's still a major part of the team online, that, he's got the best job in the world. Like, obviously he does, but could kind of beg to differ about about being a huge part of the team, because now that your two main starters don't play, don't have as much minutes with you anymore, and the team is doing far better than what it was.
All right, we'll jump over to the East, which, I mean, super top heavy. Looking at the playing picture, the Magic, I don't know, like what. I don't think they got that much worse. I mean, I thought they would have gotten better at KCP into the starting lineup, but
I think their issue is that they just added too many guards to that roster,
right?
And they didn't really focus on getting.
They needed
bigs.
Some more dynamic bigs. Yeah, I think that is just their problem. Like, it's
they got
Paolo's he's a small forward, good wing, but
and like John Isaac can't really stay healthy.
That's like what they got. It's Wendell Carter, and who's the other dude?
Yeah, they got Wendell Carter
down there. That kind of plays the 4 and 5 spot for him. I can't even remember the guy's name.
It's one of the brothers. It's one of the Wagner brothers.
I thought Franz plays like shooting guard, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
so
it really is kind of just.
All right. So
that's unfortunate for them.
They really needed a more dynamic big man, I think. The Bulls, I mean, they've been looking kind of good, bro.
Keeps playing out of his mind.
P. Giddy's been on a tear right now.
8-2 in the last 10. Bro.
Colby White's balling out. Buzelis is really starting to find his. I mean, he was already having a pretty good season, and now he's playing even better.
Cooking a lot more.
The Heat are just. I mean, they're just sad that Toronto probably can't jump them. They just want to roll over and die.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes, H. Slow your roll, buddy. It's 9:57, man. He's getting anxious over there. The Heat just want to roll over and die, yeah. Hawks are they're the Hawks. They're just so mid, man. Every year, like Trae Young he looks good. Like the rest of that team just looks so average around him. Like Young never looks like he's good enough to elevate that team. Except for that one magical run to the East Finals. And Dame, I mean, probably out for the season with that blood clot now.
Yeah, it just puts him in the worst spot.
Pistons could be a sneaky good team down there at the 6th seed, man. They're playing really well.
They're one to watch out for.
Yeah, they could give the 3 seed some problems there. The Knicks need to just be ready. I'm also like, they might get to the postseason and be like, wow, the lights are really bright. We saw that happen with like a young Cavs team a few years ago.
They just weren't ready for that moment.
Pacers have been getting some things going. 7-3 in their last. They're on a 5-game winning streak. So I'm feeling a little bit better about them potentially being a problem round one. They are going to still have, I mean, the Bucks, even without Dame, Giannis is still going to be there. He'll be a problem in the postseason. That's looking like our 4 or 5 matchup. And then you're looking at Cleveland. I don't think they'll go on enough of a skid to let the Celtics catch them. So Cleveland's probably your one. Looking at this, I would just keep the top 8 standings how they are. I'd say Hawks are the 2 seed, Magic are the 8 seed. So Cavs, Magic round 1. Cleveland's going to probably clean that up. The predicament, the Afro, they're going to just.
They're ready for this moment now.
They're going to give it. Oh yeah,
Cleveland's going to be tough.
I mean,
Eastern
Conference Finals for me, it's going to be the Celtics and the Cavs. I don't see it going any other way. And then I think the Cavs win it. The Cavs might win the NBA Finals. I'm not going to lie.
Come on, Cavs. That would be a cool story. They're the 1 seed, but it's a cool story.
Right. Just to get back there after, LeBron left. Right. I get like everyone kind of thought, well, that's it. That they're going back to being a poverty franchise. LeBron's not there anymore. They won't be relevant for years to come. And just a short time period, they really turned it around to being terrible. to being a low end playoff team to legitimate contenders. So great moves by that front office there. People live in Cleveland, so they need something to do.
True.
All right. Well, looks like we've reached the end of our time today, K-Man. Got anything else to add before we leave?
No, HG, why don't you send us out? Sign us off, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm HG. To my right is Caveman. We have the great H Train on sound. Just a reminder for everyone watching, it's the Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. So if you're looking for lunch or dinner today, head on down to Jersey Mike's. 100% of proceeds are going to charity. So go out there, get a delicious sub, and give back to your community a little bit. Once again, HG and K-Man on Till the Final Whistle on Military Broadcast Radio, signing off. Until next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us, giving our veterans a voice.